Hello, my name is Jonathan Taylor, and I am here to tell you about my slides, my essay, my project, Change and Our Stores. My point in which I hope that my local government follows is that our local grocery store needs a change in the supply of healthy, organic options and the prices of those options. Specifically, you will see me talk about apples and their organic compared to non-organic prices, WIC-approved eggs and their short, kind of inconsistent qualities, whether walk time effect and median income have effects to one another, and how apple prices, WIC approved, and just walking time may affect the prices. First, the apple problem. A major concern with the organic produce is that the local store provides a massively overpriced when compared to less healthy non-organic apples. I have seen that most of the time organic apples will be always more expensive than non-organic ones, but the extremities in which they are so much in my opinion. I believe that no child should have to settle with the less healthier option, especially when childhood obesity is on the rise in America. This should not be the case, and I disagree with it. Here is my data. Don't look at that. Don't look at this. One take, man. Summary statistics for non-organic apples. You can see that there are more people with non-organic apples. That is a problem all of its own, and that should also be covered. But as you can see, median price for organic apples seems to be higher price than non-organic. This is understandable to a degree, but to the degree in which it is done, over $1, that is too much. And that should not be allowed, and these graphs kind of perfectly show that, with the red being the mean and the green, the red being the median and the green being the mean. This should not be the case, and I feel like it should be way lower. My conclusion, it should not be over that. The least difference is $1.09. The price for organic apples should not be that high. It should be at most $1, not more. Even if it's only 10 cents more per pound, that adds up, and for the future of our children, that should not be allowed. There needs to be a healthier option. The inconsistency of WIC-approved eggs. For the data that I've collected, it has shown that the WIC-approved eggs are kind of inconsistent with when they are and when they're not. My hypothesis is that more or less wealthy places with lesser median incomes would have not WIC-approved eggs, but the data that I've found shows that that is not the case. In fact, it keeps on swatching, swapping between less people having less likely, while higher seem to be less likely. From the data I've seen, as you can see, the place with the least amount of WIC-approved apples, let me move my webcam, was actually with the median income of the store being between $9,000 to under $10,000, which is super strange. Most of the time, all the places had WIC-approved apples, but the 9 that didn't, that should not be the case. It should be WIC-approved all around the board. I think there's a problem that needs to be addressed here. Don't look at that. Does median store income affect walk time at all? This was my hypothesis that, well, if the median income of a store is higher or lower, then that might affect the walk time. Maybe if a store is less profitable, it would be more closer or farther away from the people. Maybe it would be in a more rural district, or maybe it would be completely far away. But the data that I found kind of didn't support any of this. It was kind of inconclusive. Here are my main data points, but The scatter plot is what I mostly come to. Here, I'll let you see it. The scatter plot is what I mostly found, with the slope line not really showing anything. It's not really a linear. It goes slightly down, but not by very small degree, like 0.001%. It is not a massive amount. So this part of my study was inconclusive. Now, here's another question I had. Does the store type have an effect on the organic apple price and walk time? This kind of ties in with my other points about apples and the walk time. Does the store, whether it be local or national, change whether the other factors at all? If it's local, does that make it so it's more likely to have more expensive organic apples and a longer walk time, or less? Only 12% out of the 39 that were in there were actually local. Not many of them. Most of them were national chains like Walmart or Fred Meyer and stuff, stores like that. Not many were local. And also, I tried to fit it all in one place, I couldn't. You can see most of them were national chains. This contingency table kind of shows a lot of the data. I wish I could show it all. It wouldn't let me do it. It's too big to be simplified, so I did it in this kind of fashion. As you can see, most of the national chains were like this. But with the one local chain that was listed, it was actually viewed to be kind of middle of the road. The walk time was lower than most, but still higher than others, while the organic apple price seemed to be right down the middle. It wasn't too high or too low, meaning that there is a point to be made, but not a point to be extreme. What does this mean in the final verdict? Based on the data that I have provided, it is my belief that there needs to be a firm change in how our local government supplies healthy food to our local and national grocery chains. I have shown you that the organic apple prices are way too high, the WIC-approved eggs are way too inconsistent, and as much as the walk time and median income stores didn't really prove anything, to me, it proved that this is not a problem rooted into our community. This is a problem that can be fixed with different rules put in place to make sure that there is consistent quality. This isn't something like our community was founded on it. It is the base of our community, and it can only be fixed through hard work and hardship. No, this is something that we can fix now because we have shown through this that it is something not embedded in the community within the distance and structure of our buildings. Now, any flaws that have to do with this? The data is imperfect. Most of this is based on a sample survey from the Clark College statistics class during the fall, the one I am in. And that means that the sample could be too broad or not reflective of the main population. Perhaps many of the students in this class, are not reflective of the actual population. Such as there may be a lot more white people in the class, and that might disturb the flow. I'm not too sure about that, but maybe there's more rich people in colleges, so that would put an effect on how the study is done, and so the people who are in the survey are not reflective of the actual people. No matter what, this is something to be taken into account of, but in my opinion, this does not affect the overall circumstances of the survey at all. It is still my belief that there is a problem that needs to be done, and the flaws that are in the survey do not affect it in ways that matter to a massive degree. And I believe that there's a firm change that needs to be done. Thank you for watching.